My boss fired me in front of the entire firm. So I let him present my design the next morning. He actually stole a timed explosion. I was 26 when I landed a junior architect role at Vanguard Design. The principal architect, Julian Vance, was a legend. But behind the glass doors, Julian was a parasite. He systematically stripped the junior staff of their ideas, slapped his signature on the title blocks, and fired anyone who dared complain. I spent 8 months designing a revolutionary carbon fiber transit hub. It was my masterpiece. Fluid lines, perfect tension. I practically lived in the studio, surviving on vending machine espresso. Julian would hover over my drafting table, offering nothing but condescending grunts. Last Thursday, I finalized the load-bearing algorithms. I walked into Julian's office, dropping the blueprints onto his mahogany desk. Julian barely glanced at them before pushing the pages off the edge. "You lack the vision for this scale," he sneered, not even looking me in the eye. "It's structurally juvenile. Clean out your locker by 5. Heat climbed my neck and my vision blurred. I gathered my discarded life's work and walked out without a word. That's when the real bombshell dropped. I didn't leave the building. I waited in my car until midnight, then let myself back into the dark studio. I accessed the local server. My transit hub folder had already been duplicated, the metadata scrubbed, and the author name changed to Julian Vance. He was presenting it to the mayor's planning committee the next morning as his own solo triumph. He fired me just to ensure I wouldn't be in the building. I didn't delete the files. Instead, I opened the master parametric model and altered the tensile stress formulas by a fraction of a percent. To the naked eye, the 3D rendering looked identical. But if you ran the physics simulation, the entire virtual structure would violently collapse. Then, I added a hidden digital watermark that would project my name across the screen the moment the simulation failed. The next morning at 10 a.m., I sat in the back row of the municipal auditorium. The room was packed with city officials, investors, and reporters. Julian stood at the podium in a bespoke charcoal suit. "I present my crowning achievement," Julian announced, gesturing grandly to the projection screen. He hit play. The 3D model of my transit hub materialized, rotating beautifully. The mayor nodded. The investors clapped. "And now, the real-time stress test," Julian boasted, clicking his remote. The simulation started. For 3 seconds, the digital carbon fiber cables held. Then, a massive red warning flashed across the screen. A digital crack spiderwebbed through the main pillar. With a brutal crunching sound effect from the speakers, the entire digital roof caved in, crushing the virtual train platforms below. The simulation finalized with a bold red stamp, catastrophic failure. And right beneath it, glowing in neon blue letters, unauthorized theft, original creator, Elias Thorne. The auditorium went graveyard silent. The mayor stopped clapping. Julian frantically clicked his remote, trying to exit the window, but I had locked the presentation loop. "What is the meaning of this?" the mayor demanded. Julian stammered, his polished facade shattering instantly. "It's a glitch. A disgruntled former employee corrupted my servers." I stood up. Every camera pivoted to me. "I didn't corrupt anything," I said, my voice echoing off the high ceilings. "I designed the hub. You stole it at 8:14 p.m. last night. I have the IP logs to prove it." Julian gripped the podium. "You arrogant little fraud. I'll ruin you," he hissed, his microphone amplifying the threat. "You already tried," I replied calmly. I walked down the aisle and handed a flash drive to the city inspector. "Here is the real structural model. The design works perfectly, assuming the architect actually understands the physics." By noon, the firm's board had fired Julian to save their PR. They offered me his corner office. I declined. I took my blueprints, started my own firm, and poached his clients. Sometimes, the best way to break a tyrant is to hand them the hammer and watch them smash their own empire.